Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Chemist Designs. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. Had a good day. Today we are making these easy gift boxes. Who wouldn't like to receive this cute little tag making kit? Nice little gift to have on hand, or a nice little gift for a Secret Santa or something like that. So let me know what you're doing today while I share this live to the group. It was a pretty nice day. It was I think it was like freezing, 32. Okay, I just shared it to the group. Now let me tag everyone on the group. Okay, I tagged everyone. And I'm tagging Vicky since she doesn't get the tags usually. Okay, so today I went shopping with my mom and sister. And we then went to lunch. So we went to Chili's. We had a nice time. I got the triple dipper. So good. Okay, so today, as I said, we're making the this little gift box. I want to show you how easy it is. Let me undo this. And you could tie it with, or put like a belly band or something around. I did tie it with this ribbon. Hi, Julie. So there's this little gift box. It's got a plastic lid and these dividers. Okay, and then I just put in some ephemera. Let's see. And these are all from the North Pole delivery because there was a punch out couple pages. So these are just ephemera that were cut out. Hi, Mom. And then I cut a bunch of tags so they could layer the tags. You know, you could do something like this.
Maggie?
Yeah?
The account's not working.
What do you mean?
On Crafty Chemist.
Mom's on.
I just wanted to let you know.
Julie's on. Mom's on.
Oh. Okay.
Is it working? Am I live? Stop. Let me know if I'm live.
Okay.
Oh, Mom said it's okay now? I don't know. I never saw it go off, but I know my phone is charged up. I made sure this week that it was full, 100%. And so then I put these little cards, and then the envelopes. And then I put a couple mailboxes in here. And then some bling. Who doesn't like bling? And then a little roll of twine. But as I'll show you, maybe this one that I make today, I'll show you how you can use other things. You can use cookies or I'm going to put some chocolates and things in here. I've got a gingerbread guy that we're going to see if he will fit in here, and some candy canes. So, and then I just tied it up with a ribbon. But like I said, you could tie it up with a belly band if you want to slide on and off. So this is really easy. I thought, oh, thanks, Julie. I thought that this would be a good live to do because you probably, hopefully, have your Christmas cards done. I thought maybe you need a last minute gift idea. So that's why I did this. And the Stampin' Up! Corporate showed us how to do this, how to make these, and wanted us to share. So that's why I thought this was a perfect thing to do today. Okay, and it's really super easy. You'll be surprised at how easy it is. I was really surprised. The hardest part for me was the plastic, but I've got some ideas about that too. Okay, and let me know, does anybody need a last minute gift ideas or Secret Santa or something for your neighbors, something like that? It's also, I was thinking this would be cute for something for Valentine's Day too. I thought about maybe doing something Valentine's, but I want to keep it to Christmas right now, but maybe I'll show some samples for Valentine's Day closer to that. Okay, I have my directions here, so let's see if I wrote them so I can read them. Okay, so let's start with the base, and I am going to use, I bought the basic white thick cardstock. This is made specifically to help you with paper crafting projects. It's a little bit thicker than our regular white. So I thought I'd try it out. And it is thicker. Let me see. I made this box. Let me see. Oh, well, it's not white, but you can see it's, with the cardstock, it's a little bit less, so it's a little bit more flimsy. So, I don't know. But you can definitely make one out of regular cardstock. I'm going to use the thick cardstock because really I just wanted to try it out so I could tell you guys what I thought about it, you know? I try to buy products so I can answer your questions, and I do like this for paper crafting. They actually would make good card bases too. Okay. Okay, good, Jean, you're on. Okay, the base is 7 by 8.5. And this is to make this size box, okay? So but you can do whatever size you want, but I am going to be making that size box. So 7 by 8.5. So let's do the 8.5. And then the 7. Let me know if you guys have tried the basic white and what you think. The basic white thick. Okay. I might keep this out to make the tags with. So, okay, now what we need to do is score this to make the box. We are going to score it at 1 inch on all sides. So I'm just going to flip it around and do the 1 inch all the way around. Is anybody attempting to make this with me today? I think this would be nice for coworkers to put some like Christmas cookies in. Okay. I didn't write down the size of the top, but that's okay. So what we need to do is we're going to cut on the two sides, this side and this side, right along the score line, from along the score line here up to the next score line, okay? And if you can't see it very well, you can burnish it a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to cut it right like that. Okay, do the same thing on this side. Okay, you want to see how the dividers are done? Good. I'm hoping that I remember how to do them. I was going to make a practice one today, but first of all, it's been so busy. I put together a whole new bedroom set this week. I put together a nightstand and a whole new queen-size bed and these, like the box spring thing. So I've been so busy, I didn't do it. And I was going to do it today, but then they talked me into going shopping and to lunch. Okay, and now I recommend taking out a little, just a little sliver, a little like triangle on the little flaps, because it makes it easier to line up and be, you know, like a 90-degree box. Oh, I didn't cut this one. Yeah, I didn't cut this one. I was talking, I guess, and wasn't paying attention. Okay. This just helps you make it flat. Okay. And so now I'm going to fold up the other sides, and so you can hopefully see how the box is coming together. When you burnish these, I like to make sure before I fold it down that like the sides are lined up. Helps you keep your project square. Okay, and then let's do this side. And line this up. Okay, and now what we're going to do, as you can see how the box is forming, we're going to fold this in like that, and then fold this one in like this. Okay, so you want to put, I'm going to flip this up, kind of upside down, put the box side, the part that's going to be the inside of your box, on the down, and this is the outside, or however it's easy for you to make sure you put the adhesive onto the correct parts. So I'm going to use the tear and tape. You can also use green glue. I know that there's team glue and team tear and tape, so I'm team tear and tape, although I will use a little bit of glue later. Okay. So just rub that down a little bit to make sure it's adhered, and then remove the backing. Okay. Okay, and then the important part here is that you want the top of this piece here to be flush with that piece. And that's why cutting this little divot helps you kind of secure this so that it's, you know, 90 degrees. So now see how that's kind of a nice perfect angle and there's nothing kind of sticking up. Although if it's something does stick up, you can just trim it off. It's not a big deal, but it helps you keep this square. Okay, so we did one side. And see, I put the folds on the inside of your box, okay? And then we're going to do this side too. So I'm going to put the adhesive on these pieces. And it might be easier if you put the adhesive all at once and then take the backing off on each side as you do it, but and I'm just putting 2 pieces here. So you can see how easy it is to make a box. If you're using the green glue, you might have to hold it a little bit to keep it, you know, until it kind of sticks to keep it square. Okay, last one. And again, put the adhesive on the inside. Okay, so we have the box bottom. Okay, now I'm going to do the box top. And on these ones, I did use plastic. We do sell window sheets. Let me maybe drop a link. But I'm using transparency film. I think this time of year, like at Christmas, sometimes things come in packaging that's got plastic sheets or whatever. Save those if you get anything. I didn't realize we sold window sheets, but I learned that whenever they showed us how to make these. And so I haven't used the product yet, but I'm going to order it and I'll let you guys know. I'll make a project with it so that I can give a review of it. But I think it is thicker than my transparencies. Okay, so basically, here's my transparency film. You know, again, I'm a teacher, so I have these because we don't use transparencies anymore, really. So I have these. And so what you want to do is I put mine on the outside of my box. Okay, so you want this to be slightly larger than the base. Okay, so our base was 7 by 8.5. I'm going to do it about 7 1/8 by an 8 and 8 and 5/8. Okay, so basically do 7 by 8.5, but then go to the next kind of line. I'll show you. Let's see if this piece is big enough. So this is just transparency film, you can see. So here's the 8.5. Oh, this sheet isn't big enough. Let me get another sheet. What am I gonna do when these run out? I don't even know if you can buy transparency film anymore. Well, I guess I'll just buy the window sheets. Okay, so I'm going to put this at 8.5, and then basically I'm going to go not the next small line, which is a 16th, but the next big line. And then, you know, maybe just a tad beyond that, but basically it'll be 2 marks on after 8.5. And then this one was 7, right? So I'm gonna do 7 and then go to the 1/8. And then I'm just gonna cover up the 1/8 part. Okay, so this is, again, slightly bigger slightly bigger than your base, okay? Now I know you probably can't see that very easily on here, but and then you want to do 1 inch all the way around. Okay. And I find that with the transparency, I go over it a couple times. The one thing is you don't want to go too hard that it like breaks, okay? Let me see what Julie says here. Okay, I'll do that. Maybe I'll make some cute Valentine boxes or something out of these. Okay, so that's 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch. Do another 1 inch. Okay. And then, I don't know what, I got something on my fingers. I did put lotion on my hands earlier, but I thought I wiped it off. Okay. There we go. So I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit behind on my, on the live. Let me see if I can put paper under this. Okay, let's see if this makes it easier. I don't know if that makes it any better. Okay, but we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut along the line. I will say that when you do this, you want to be careful that you don't cut and it rips kind of easily. Now, I don't know about the window paper or the window sheets from Stampin' Up. I don't know, but this transparency, it's pretty easy to kind of like tear, get a little tear in it. So now, I don't know if I said that last time, but when you cut on, you know, cut these pieces, make sure you're cutting the ones across, okay? So don't cut here and then it'll cut going this. I mean, it really doesn't matter because it's going to be on the inside, but you'll have at least a couple sides that are nice, clean sides. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the little corners out. And then this is the part where I found that I kind of broke the transparencies a little bit. But if you can't see, I'm really just doing the same thing I did with the white cardstock. And if you want, you can make the base out of pattern paper or colored cardstock, you know, however you want. I just wanted to try this thick cardstock to try it out. And it is kind of important to make sure you cut right on the lines, right on the folds, because if you don't, it doesn't fold and makes as nice of a corners. So, okay, now I'm going to, this is the part that I found was a little bit difficult. That's why if you score it a few times, it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to fold this in just like you did the other one. Make sure the corners are lined up just like on the the base. Okay. And then again, trying to fold it right on that line, I find is difficult with this thin. This transparency film is, you know, thinner than I think the sheets are. Okay. Let's fold this. There we go. If you want, like I said, you could do this with pattern paper. The only thing is you wouldn't be able to see through it like this, you know, with the cute little gift box. But you can. Okay, let's do the side. Again, I'm trying to fold right along the score lines. And then it is really important for these that you burnish it well. So you get the nice crisp edges. Now I hope that I made this the right size, because last time when I was doing my practice, I had to do a couple rounds because somehow I made it the wrong size. I don't know how I did that, but I did. Okay. Burnish these edges. Okay. Now again, we have, this is how the box is going to be. This is the open part. So I'm going to flip it over and put the adhesive onto the back side. Now you'll be able to see that you can see the adhesive since this is transparent. I'm just telling you that up front. I'm going to cover it up with paper. It may not bother you. You know, you don't have to cover it up if you don't want to. I'm going to put adhesive on this side too before I pop that one together. Okay. I will tell you that if you use the Tombow glue, if you use the Tombow green glue for your base, it doesn't stick on the plastic as well. So you might need to resort to tear and tape or score tape or red line tape or, you know, something like that. Okay. So again, I'm going to try and line up the corners, but see how you can see the tape? But like I said, I'm going to cover it up. Okay. Nice. Now this side. Okay, and then this side. You probably could use Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay. I'll move this now. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to try it out to make sure it fits. Because like I said, I don't know what I did the last time, but okay, perfect. Fits perfectly. Okay, now let's do the insides. Did everybody follow along with that? Here's one I did with pattern paper so you could see. You could do the same thing, but again, you won't be able to see it. Okay, so now let's cut our pieces for the inside, for the dividers. They're all going to be 3 inches because our sides are 1 inch, and then you score them. Well, I'll show you. You kind of score them in threes. So the first one is 6.5 by 3. Let me use these pieces that I have here. Okay. 6.5. By 3. Okay, I think that's the long one, right? And that's this long piece. Again, these measurements are for this size, the box with let me take this off so you can see. The directions that I'm giving you right now, the cutting guide, is to make these dividers, but you can place them any way that you want. Okay, so your pieces are going to be able to, you can move this up, you can make 4 equal sections or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so this is 6.5 by 3, right? Okay, and then let's see, the next one is 2 1/4 by 3. I should have just cut this by 3. Okay, 2 1/4 by 3. And then 2 3/4 by 3. Here's 3. And 2 3/4. So one side is wider than the other side. Okay, so those are our 3 pieces. Now let's take our 6.5 by 3. Is this 6.5? 6.5 by 3. Okay, and we're going to score. You always score, I think, on the 3-inch side. Okay, the first one you're going to score at 1/2, 1.5, and 2.5. Okay, 1/2. Oops, wait, this isn't 1.5. And 2.5. Okay. And you probably can see where this is going. I am using the same, these are the leftover pieces from my 12 by 12. So this is the heavier. Okay. Let's see. This one is 2 3/4 by 3. So let's do this one, 2 1/4 by 3. Okay, so on the 3-inch side, so this is the 2 1/4 by 3. We're going to score at 1/2, 1.5, and 2.5. Okay. And then on the last one, this one is the 2 3/4 by 3. So this is the 3-inch side. So this one we're scoring at 1/2, 1.5 by 2.5. So it's the same for all of them. 1/2, 1.5, and 2.5. Okay, so let's start with the long one. And I'm going to, so there's a 1/2, 1.5, 2.5. I'm going to score it. I'll make a mountain fold in the middle. Make a mountain fold in the middle and burnish it. And then the two sides are going to be valley folds. Okay, so it's going to look kind of like this. So a mountain fold in the middle and then valley folds on the bottom. Okay, and so we're going to do that for all of these because they were all scored the same. So make a mountain fold in the middle and then valley folds on the edges. Okay, this one mountain fold in the middle and then valley folds on the edges. Okay, so these all look like, I don't know, like mountains. I don't know, valley. Okay. So really easy to make these. And now what you do is I'm going to put adhesive just in the middle sections. Hi, Dee. Just in the middle sections are we going to put the adhesive, okay? Okay, and then just kind of fold it over. So now this center thing is up. Okay? Let's do it again for this one. So we're gluing together these two pieces here, the 1-inch pieces. Because remember, our box is 1 inch. Now, if you make your box a different height, then you're just going to make this part that sticks up, whatever that height is. So if you make your box 1.5 inches, then obviously this would need to be 1.5 inches. Okay, this is really, once you figure out how to make these boxes, you can customize it to whatever you want. You can make a big box if you're going to send a bunch of cookies, you know, and you want a big box of cookies, you can make a bigger one. Put the dividers whatever size your cookies are. Or, I mean, you don't even have to really make a divider, I guess. But okay, there's one, then two. Now let's do the middle one. This part you could use your green glue. The only part that I wouldn't recommend using the green glue is on the plastic part, because it just doesn't stick. If you have some old liquid glass, you could use that. That's what I always used to use on my shaker windows and things. Okay, now we are just going to put these into our box. We're going to put the long divider at 2 3/4. So I don't know if you can tell, but this side, this is 2 3/4. Let me see if I've got my ruler. Okay, so the 2 3/4 is here, and then the 2 1/4 is here. Okay. So what we're going to do is put our adhesive on here I'm going to use some tear and tape. You could use the green glue, and I am going to use the green glue in a minute to secure the edges, but you're going to put them on both of the little flaps. Okay, and then I'm going to just use my Versamat here and try and hit the 2 3/4 there, and the 2 3/4 here. You can also use your 2 3/4 piece to, you know, to help guide you. That looks good there. That looks pretty good there. Okay, and then you can adhere it down. If you have to trim it a little bit, if you didn't cut it that well, you can trim it. Okay, now we're going to do this one. Put the tear and tape again just on these little flanges. And then this one actually, is 2 5/8. So let me, I have this down. This is a 2 3/4 piece. It's down at 2 5/8. Again, where you put these cross dividers is not super critical, but you make sure you want to use a 2 3/4 piece. But I'm going to put it, what did I say, 2 5/8. So again, someplace like here. Obviously, I'm going to put it right there. That looks to be about 5/8. Okay. Okay, and then I put the shortest divider 2 inches up from the bottom. Okay, so let's do this last one. Just put the adhesive on the little flange parts, not the part that's going to be sticking up. And then we're going to put it 2 inches up from the bottom. Now that's for this particular design. If you have something different shaped, then like, I'll show you one thing I was going to do before I put that down. I thought about potentially putting some candy canes. Let me see. You know, obviously I wouldn't put the divider down in there, but you get the point. You just kind of figure out what you want to use. Oh, I had a little tube of icing because I was gonna do my these gingerbread cookies. I didn't know how big these were. Now, so this would be really cute if these guys would fit in there, but they're a little bit big. I mean, again, I could make a box where I am, you know, making it the size that I need for this particular item. So he's not going to fit. But I did get this, and it's kind of cute because it's got 4 little things. Kind of a make-your-own gingerbread guy. Okay, but this one I'm going to put 2 inches up. But you can see how you can customize this to whatever you need. So I put it like right here. I feel like I maybe want to trim this just a hair. I'm going to trim it just a hair because it was pushing the side out just a little bit. So I'm going to trim just like literally just see if I can shave off. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit better. Okay, and then glue that down. Okay, now here's a couple options. Now you see how the sides are not attached to these. What I've seen some people do is if you want to make your top a little bit smaller, you could slide it in and then it would go in between this and kind of help hold those together. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some green glue and I'm going to, oh, look at this. Do I have it? Yeah, I have a paper towel here. I used some of my green glue earlier and it pretty gunky. Okay. I'm going to just like put a drop here. Just right along the edge. Like you want to be real careful so it doesn't like goo out everywhere. And then hold it up against it until it kind of dries. It helps hold the sides of the boxes in, and then it helps, keep these together. And then I'm going to do that here. So I'm going to do this at the same time, and we'll wait. Okay, and then what we're going to do after this is you can keep it white like this because really I don't feel like you can see you do see the little flanges. I don't know. Let me see if I can make it. I don't know if you can really. You want a box filled with Oreos? Yeah, nice. I was thinking about making those Oreo balls. What are those called? The Oreo and cream cheese. I haven't made those in a long time. The Oreo truffles, is that what they're called? Vince and Lindsay love those. But, I'm kind of afraid to have the chocolate around. I don't really want to make anything chocolate because I got my chocolate hungry dog. Okay, let me put a little bit of glue on this side. And then I'm going to stick those until they... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut pieces to cover up the bottom, which I did do in my sample. Let me wait just 1 minute. Okay, so you can see in my sample, I used the light blue paper from the North Pole Delivery. So you can use, whatever you want. Let me get the North Pole Delivery here. See if I can do it one-handed. Okay, let's see, that should be good. I don't know. This one is not liking, because I trimmed that and now I maybe trimmed it. Maybe I shouldn't have trimmed it. I can't get that side to stick. Okay. I don't know if I can keep that pushed up against there. I'll just hold it. Okay. Let me get the North Pole Delivery out and then I'll hold that. Okay. You can use any paper, but the reason I chose this one is because of the punch out pieces. This would be cute if, the Storybook Friends, the Easter one from last year, had punch out pieces like this. Remember, with like the rabbits and different things. Okay, this is what I used to decorate the side. the cars. These are some of the like cars that I like use for the punch outs. Here's the blue that I used. See if I have more of that. Here are the punch out sheets. I'll go over those when I'm ready to punch out. Okay, here's some more of that blue. Probably use that again. I did think about using this paper, but I thought it might compete a little bit with the whatever you put in there. This one wouldn't be too bad, but I use that for my oh, let's see. Do I have any? I use those for my gingerbread cards. Okay. Little dog, I'll keep him out. These little houses are so pretty. I'm gonna make a scrapbook layout with those. I just haven't yet. These are the mailboxes. Again, these ones I think are a little bit busy. Keep all these ones that are the punch outs because maybe I can use those. Yeah, we already saw that one. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed while I hold the hold the other thing. Okay, this paper I really like this paper. And again, I think this would be cute for the Valentines. Remember last week I showed you the Valentines? It wasn't this paper, it was the other paper that looks like this, but I think you could make these be Valentine looking because they really don't look too Christmassy. And then the dogs. Okay, good. I have a whole sheet of this blue, which is good. And then this one. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So let's decorate the insides with the blue. So here's this is A, B, I think, A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. So A is 2 5/8 by 2 3/8. Okay, so let's see where this is. Let's see, what is this? This is 2 3/4. Are any of these 2 3/4? 2 5/8 is the biggest one. So let's cut this 2 5/8. There. And then 2 3/8. That's supposed to fit into here. Oh, wait, that doesn't seem right. And let's measure these before I go by these measurements here. That doesn't fit into any of these. What the heck? Let's see. This is 2 3/4. Of course, I just cut that. 2 3/4 and 2 5/8. Okay, let's do that. I mean, we did put the long divider at 2 3/8. So 2 3/4 by 2 5/8. That should go here. Okay, perfect. 2 3/4 by 2 5/8. Let's measure this one. Should be 2 1/4. 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. So let's do 4 1/2. And 2 1/4. I'm gonna trim it just a little bit. Yeah, that's the kind of like the measurements of the outside, so you might have to make it just inside those measurements. I'm gonna trim just a little bit. So whenever you measure the outside, kind of, you know, cut off just a hairline. That one needs a little bit more trimmed. I think that's because that one might be not cut straight. Okay, yeah, that fits good. Let me see what Julie says here. Yeah, exactly. You could put jewelry pieces in here. You could put, you said like woodworking pieces. I don't know. I bet you like those little wood shapes. You can even do these for kids and put those little things that you can paint, you know, like little, like wood pieces or whatever. And put like little paints or something in here. Okay, let's do this one. This one is, you know what? I didn't put glue on the tops of these ones, so it's 2 1/4. So I'm going to do about 2 1/8 and 2 1/8. 2 1/8, maybe 2 3/16. And then was that? So this is 2 1/4 by 2 1/8. So I'm going to make this be about, let's do 2 1/8, and then we'll see. It might need to be 2, because if you remember, I tried to put it at 2 inches up. So let's trim this just a little bit. And then obviously, if your paper is directional, you're going to have to worry about that. This side needs to be a little bit. Okay. Still a little bit more. Okay, and then the last one. Might have to cut into the big piece to get this last one. This one is 2 3/4 by 4. So that's cut 2 3/4 by 4. Well, I shouldn't put that away because I'm assuming this is going to fit, and it looks like I need to trim it just a little bit. Okay. See if it fits this way. It does. I'm going to trim it just a little bit on the top here, and then I think it should be good. Let's do a little bit more. I guess it's better to be a lot less than more, because like I said, you can't really see those things. It's more just to give a little bit of decoration. On the bottom to cover up. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now, I did glue these down. You don't need to. It just depends on how close you got it to you know, the size of the box, but I am going to glue it down, and I'm just really just going to tack it down a little bit. You don't want to get too much glue or it will soak through. Although with this heavy cardstock, probably not. Okay, and then the last one. And you obviously could spend a lot more time making sure that these dividers were, you know, stuck to the sides, or you don't have to. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. Okay. Now we have it there. And so let's look at what I did here. So I cut these gems, and these are the traditional sparkling sequins. And so I cut it, let's see, obviously I just cut them to fit. And I did have to trim the plastic a little bit to fit, and then to fit this way. Okay. Or like you can use whatever. I put this. And then I had this. I think that was from one of the paper pumpkins. I used this is a black and white gold baker's twine. This goes with that modern Christmas. So I didn't open that one up yet, so I'm going to throw that in there. You can see this is what you get when you purchase your twine, and then you get something like this in the paper pumpkin kits. So, and then let's look at the punch outs. I thought these colors went nice with the the sweet that I used. Okay. So here are the punch outs. What I did is I put all the houses and the animals. You can see I put a lot in here. The houses and the animals. I think I made 12 tags, and so I put at least 12, you know, things in here. So the houses and the animals, I figured they fit in there nice. So let's cut some of these out. So like I said, I did about 12. Well, I don't know if this one's going to fit. I think this one didn't. Oh, yeah, it does fit. So I have used this tack for a lot of different things. I don't know what's on there. And I still have all of these punch outs left. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to put 6 houses, and then I'll put 6 animals, maybe. So 6 houses, and then these animals are so cute. Oh, I've got these guys here. I'm going to put this. I'll put 1, 2. This guy's so cute. This guy's, look, it's a little cat. Did you guys notice that this one's a little cat with the antlers? I know, good thing I bought 2 sets. This is literally 1 set. I think I still had the whole other set I didn't even dip into yet. Okay, I like this little dog. Let's see if he'll fit in there. Yeah, he does. 4. I already did this guy, right? I don't think I did the black bear. 5. The dog with the sled won't fit in there, but... Okay, I think this is 6. Let's put this little guy. What is this guy? A skunk? No. What do you think this guy is? let's see, I think that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 animals. And then I put the gifts here. 1, 2, 3. This is like a little stamp. 4, 5, 6, and then the mailboxes. Do I have many mailboxes left? I don't know if this one will fit. Yeah, he'll fit there. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put some of these because these could be Valentine's. And that cute? So you could use this for Valentine's. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, and then let's do the tags. Okay, these guys fell off, so I'm just going to throw these in here. And so then for the tags, I have the greetings of the season set. I don't know if this is still available. Let me see if this is still available. It's 164325. Okay, that doesn't seem to still be available. You think that's a badger? Yeah, it could be. But the dies for this one, there's so many of these dies. So I'm going to take some of this thick cardstock, and then I'm going to cut this into, let me see, 6-inch pieces. Oh. Oops. And then I'm just going to cut out a bunch of tags. You probably have, if you don't have greetings of the season, you probably have some tags. What I like about this one is I can do like a bunch at once. So, you know, I'm just going to lay these on here. And also what I like about these is it has the holes, you know, for the tags. This one's got stuff in it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I was able to fit 2, 3, 6 on here. Put this down a little bit. And like I said, I just was doing 12, but really, you can do however many you want. And they're different sizes, so it's kind of fun. And then I'm putting them right in here. And then I thought I'd do, oh, I thought I had cloud cover in here. Do I not have cloud cover? I knew I had cloud cover because I used it in my Christmas cards. Okay, I'm going to cut this 6 by 6. And then I'll cut these. I'll cut another round of these. On this one, I did use, I think I used garden green as the other color, which is one of the colors from the pack. And I might have done, I might have put more than 12 in there. I don't know. Okay. Here's the other plate. Oh, I know why I used the green, and that's because I wrapped it in this. So I'm going to put some of the blue cloud cover in there. But this set is really nice because, like I said, I'm cutting 6 at once, so that makes it so convenient. I'm really glad I got this set. I used these a lot. Okay. And I'm going to mix them up a little bit so that it doesn't just look all kind of put the biggest to the smallest. Looks like I cut more of the colored ones in this one. Okay, so I mean, basically we're getting close to being done. You could kind of stop here, but again, you can see the whatever kind of adhesive. So what we did here is we wrapped it in paper. You could wrap it with a ribbon if you want. So for the paper, where are my directions here? Here we go. The paper around the top is 3/4 of an inch times 12, and you need to make 2 of them. So here's this one, but that one's not cut, so okay, this is the one I already cut. So I'm going to use this one. So we're going to cut 3/4 of an inch 2 times, and I'm going to cut I'm going to measure 3/4 to the right of my cutter. Okay. Now these boxes are 7, well, it's 5 by 6.5. 5 by 6.5. So basically, you can overlap these. These are going to overlap about 1/2 inch on each side. I tried to overlap in the middle here because that way I could tie the bow and it would cover up the seam. So let's take our tear and tape, and I'm going to put it along the top and a little bit along the bottom because I feel like I just did one strip on that one and I don't feel like it stays down as good. Okay. If you don't care about seeing that adhesive, because really no one's gonna look at that, but this is just to cover that up. Again, you can use this or you can use a ribbon. And with the ribbon, you obviously would just, before I stick this down, I'm going to show you. You could just, you know, wrap it all the way. You wouldn't have to cut 2 pieces. You would just wrap this around and then glue it. Okay. I didn't because I used that ribbon to, seal the box up. Okay. So then you're going to just kind of center it along your plastic cover, and it will cover up the adhesive pieces. You're going to want to, make sure you fold along the corners. Okay. And then I've got the next piece here. Let's put adhesive on the next one. Okay. And before you stick it down, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to go all the way around. So I'm just going to kind of, so you really want to just basically barely overlap those. See, I just overlapped it just slightly. And then, oops, and then this is going to come meet up there. Okay. So that kind of covers those adhesive. And you want to kind of pinch the corners so that, you got, it's a nice straight corners as opposed to just kind of flopping around. Okay. And then, like I did with this one, I used ribbon. This ribbon is, it's called satin ribbon, 3/4 of an inch, about 10 yards. Let me see if we still have this one. It doesn't look like we still have this one, but there's so much ribbon. There's a really pretty like green velvet that would be nice. So I just tied it around the belly of the box like this. Let me measure this for you before I do that so that you know about how much I used. I would say about 36 inches. Okay. One of the ladies in the demo, she did, you know how you put it like around the corners? Let me see if I can show you that. I don't know that I'll be able to do that, but, and what I did is I did cut a tag, which I'm not going to take the time to do here. I cut a tag and then I used some twine just to wrap it around the ribbon. You could tie it into the ribbon if you want to. And then you could spend your time making it pretty. From me to you. Let's do this one. Okay, like I said, 12, 24, 36, okay. She did that where I don't even know how to do it. It ran around the edges like this, and then it went around, this edge with the bow. I can't do that, but you probably know what I mean. But that would look cute too, because hers looked really cute. One of the ladies in the demo just made a belly band out of paper and didn't use ribbon at all. Right, she did a belly band and then put a tag or some decoration on the front. But I had this ribbon and I thought it was pretty. There we go. Okay, and then like I said, you could spend your time making it pretty. And put your label or whatever, and then trim it. But there you go. There's your little box. So it was really easy, wasn't it? I will tell you that if you are going to put cookies in here, I would line, in addition to putting the paper down, I would maybe cut a little bit of parchment paper. Because if the cookies have, butter and things, it can make the paper greasy or something, right? So if you're going to be putting cookies or chocolates that aren't wrapped up, or Oreos, I would put some of that parchment paper or wax paper or something in there so it doesn't get greasy. But once you make one of these, really the sky's the limit, because you can, whatever you have. Like I think I might make one that fits this guy, this gingerbread, because this is cute. This is actually a really perfect thing. I think my mom got this at the dollar store. I thought they were sprinkles. Oh, here's the sprinkles. If I would make one compartment for this, and then, you got a compartment for the icing. You got these look like, this might be icing too. And then the sprinkles, 4 little compartments. Wouldn't that be a cute little thing? This would be cute for if you were a teacher and had to give, we didn't have to, but if you were going to give a little gift to your students, that would be cute. I mean, you'd have to make 30 of these boxes, but it would be cute. Any questions about these? They're really easy, but like I said, they're customizable. You can put your dividers anywhere you choose to fit. You can make your box any size. You can make your box bigger or smaller. The one thing is, like, if you want your box to be, say, like 5 by 7, then you just make it 2 inches bigger on all sides. So you make it 7 by 9 because you have it 1 inch high. You know, so you're going to have the 1 inch border all the way around. If you, I was thinking about putting some of those little Lindor chocolates, the little round ones. They might be too tall, like too wide to fit in here. So I mean, you could make your box like 1.5 inches tall. So if that were the case, you would just, if you want 5 by 7, you would just add 3 inches. So you would make it 8 by 10. And then score it 1.5 inches all the way around to make it a little bit taller to fit those little round chocolates. Okay, but like I said, the sky's the limit on these. And you don't have to use the plastic. Like I said, you could use paper, you just can't see. Okay, I'll post a picture, I'll do that. That would be cute, wouldn't it be cute? I think it'd be cute. I hadn't opened that up yet. But I have been looking for individual. What made me think about it is because Ellie and Ro decorated some gingerbread cookies. And I was like, oh, it would be cute if we could. I thought if we can get one of those gingerbread cookies. And then there was one of those tubes of white icing. And then somehow make, you know, sprinkles, like a little thing of sprinkles. So that would have been the cookie, the tube of icing, and sprinkles. I thought would have been really cute. But we decorated all of the gingerbread guys, but my mom found that at the dollar store, and I thought I'd try that. Okay, like I said, this might be cute for Valentine's. You can, you know, put little, actually I can show you the products. I can't show you the catalog, but I can show you like these are all dies, these hearts. You could cut out a bunch of hearts, you know, in here. You can stamp some sentiments. You've got these look like stickers. And the paper. And then there's doilies. Now, obviously, you'd have to make a different size box, but something like that would be cute too. Okay, next week, I don't have my sample made for next week, but I am going to be using, finally, the Aurora paper. I've been so excited about using this. Those little Ghirardelli, I do have the Ghirardelli chocolate. I did bring it down here, but since I didn't have enough stuff to do the other ones, I didn't. But these would fit perfectly in that box there. And actually, I might eat one of these right now because I didn't have dinner yet because we went to Chili's for lunch and I really wasn't not hungry at all. So, okay, so next week, I think I'm going to do a fun fold card with the Aurora packs. Okay, so I won't see you guys before Christmas, so have a very, very Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining me. If you make any boxes, please post them. And I'm really excited to see what you might put into these boxes. It was so easy and so customizable. And once you learn how to make a box, you can, you know, do whatever you want. So if you do something, I'd really be interested in seeing what you do. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Julie. Merry Christmas to all of you. And I am having a New Year's Eve virtual crop. So if you haven't signed up for my New Year's Eve virtual crop, you can go onto my page. Let me drop a link. Okay, there's the link. Sign up. We spend the evening from 5 to midnight just doing your own crafting. There will be a make and take. And this year I'm adding a mystery craft along. which you, I don't want to give it away, but it may give you an opportunity to make something along this lines. Mystery craft along, and then sketch challenge, and some maybe a game. I think the mystery craft along is going to take place of one of the games, but there'll be some games. Okay, so see you next week, or see you at the New Year's Eve party. Talk to you later. Bye.